Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 19 of Season 7 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Goodyear Challenge here at Champs Elysees, all the way out in Belfort, France, as we are getting set for 11 laps of racing at one of the most treacherous road courses in the entire NR 2003 world. But, yes, we are now at the halfway point. We've done half of the season, 18 races down, 18 races to go. Still plenty of time for drivers to make strides to get this championship. And speaking of the championship, here's a recap of the point standings after Daytona this past week. Jesse Turner continues to extend his points lead and leads by 32 points over Matt McIntyre. So, new second place driver in points currently, as you are also looking at the starting lineup for the race today, as Carson Gum is on the pole with Dylan Jacobs starting next to him. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Goodyear Challenge here at Champs Elysees.
Drivers, start your engines.
Now, it's been a long time since we've ran at this particular racetrack, and yes, we were in helicopter camera because the camera angles for the final couple of corners, you can't see where they are because of the grandstands being in the way. Here they come. Pace car pulling in the pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to boogity 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 go racing. Dylan Jacobs led the first lap here in this race, and yeah, you can definitely tell with this racetrack the racing's definitely closer and more chaotic. As you see, they are double to 3 wide racing back here, almost 4 wide. In fact, Matt McIntyre almost made it 4 wide, and it was almost 4 wide again back here. So, not to mention with this particular track of Champs Elysees, it is a more high-speed road course than most other road courses we go to on the schedule. Right now, it's 1-2 for Kamikaze Racing. Dylan Jacobs in the lead, but right on his back bumper is his teammate, Jordan Forbes. Jordan Forbes, he's been trying to search for his first career win in this series. Perhaps today could be the day to make it happen, as he's making a pass, trying to make a pass on his teammate, Dylan Jacobs, to get to the race lead. As we go to helicopter camera here in the final couple of corners, to keep an eye on everything, and Dylan Jacobs realizes that Jordan Forbes just had a better run going into the corner right there and just decided, you know what, I led a lap, I got a bonus point for now, I'll let him get a point and then try and run him back down. And Jordan Forbes led that lap, but Dylan Jacobs now making a comeback run as he dives it into the inside of the 77, and this helps for Caleb Kilburn to put his name in the hat to battle it out for the race lead, as he's right there with Jacobs and Forbes challenging for the lead. So definitely a lot more competitive up here at the front of the field than in other road course races we go to, is Dylan Jacobs trying to get back to the lead as he got a huge run on the bottom in that right-hander. And he's going to be able to keep that line going as we enter another right-hander. And yes, like I said, this is a high-speed road course, as this part right here is the fastest part of the track that we're entering, where they can go up to 170 some miles an hour. Dylan Jacobs looked like he couldn't quite get that bottom lane to work because Caleb Kilburn was kind of pushing Jordan Forbes ahead of the 78 to make sure he kept the lead, as it's still top three fighting it out for the spot, and Caleb Kilburn let off the gas a little bit to give the 78 more room to clear him, and maybe might be able to make something happen, although Kilburn took that corner a little bit high and actually lost a little bit of time as the top two continue to be hooked together, the 78 and the 77, but the 99 trying to get back into the picture. Meanwhile, we got a new driver up in fourth, James Shelley, who looked like he passed his teammate Carson Gum. Now, it is official that this is James Shelley's final season in this series, as he will not return in Season 8, and in fact, the Season 8 lineup is pretty much set in stone. Meanwhile, back up here at the front, Dylan Jacobs trying to use that same line that he ran the previous lap, and luckily nobody's able to push Jordan Forbes ahead, so it looks like Dylan Jacobs going to get the lead back from Jordan Forbes. Now Forbes not only trying to catch back up to Dylan Jacobs, but also trying to find a way around, or try to keep Caleb Kilburn behind him, as we now go back to helicopter cam. Although Jordan Forbes got a run on the inside of Dylan Jacobs, but Caleb Kilburn actually going to give a bit of a push to, or a bit of an arrow push to Dylan Jacobs, but Forbes running that preferred lane on the inside. It's going to be a drag race at the line. Imagine if this was the final lap. That would have been a great battle, but Dylan Jacobs finally clears Jordan Forbes to get back to the front of the field. Just double checking to make sure if anybody was out of the race or not, and we're a couple of laps away from the halfway point of this race, and I gotta wonder when would these drivers, if they would have to come to pit road or not. But the full field rundown as it stands currently, Dylan Jacobs is the race leader, second is Jordan Forbes, third is Caleb Kilburn, fourth is James Shelley, fifth Carson Gum, sixth is Ryan Acosta, seventh is Zachary Fitzwater, eighth Benjamin Miles, ninth Joey Parkhill, 10th Matt McIntyre, 11th is DJ Curtis, 12th Cole Deaver, 13th Jesse Turner, 14th Julia Katrine, 15th is Cole Baker, 16th Melissa Alexander, 17th Artur Castanha, 18th battle between James Qualls and Rafael Leduc, and Leduc's 19th, and then 20th is Dylan Young, 21st is Charles Sanford, 22nd Hannah Klein, 23rd is Clint Spillman, 24th Rob Evans, 25th Johnny Gardner, 26th is Jake Rogers, 27th Jonathan Zorlane, 28th Jessica Shelton, 29th Jay Jefferson, 30th is Cody Lamas, 31st Seth Cole, 32nd is Kyle Matthews, 33rd Raphael Fireblade, Although Dylan Jacobs sacrificed the race lead to come to pit road. That's a big bit of a game-changing moment right there, as right there on lap 5 going to lap 6, Dylan Jacobs sacrificed the lead to come to pit road, but he only went with 2 tires and gas. And it looks like he was the only one that elected to come to pit road that lap. I don't know if that was a good strategy or not. We'll see how it all plays out, but that handed the lead back to Jordan Forbes, as Caleb Kilburn trailing behind in the 2nd spot. Looking around the field to see what all is happening now after Dylan Jacobs elected to come to pit road. Let's see, it looks like the leaders are coming in. Shelley and most of them coming in, although Joey Parkhill going to stay out another lap. So too does DJ Curtis, Melissa Alexander, who won at Daytona this past week. Quite a few drivers elect to stay out another lap, while the majority of the front runners elect to come to pit road this time. Now I'm going to watch Jordan Forbes and Caleb Kilburn's pit stops to see who will come out ahead between these two, because this could be the deciding factor of who's going to get to the race lead. Forbes right now with 2 tires and gas. Yes, he goes 2 tires and fuel, and so too does Caleb Kilburn, but Kilburn, it looks like, might actually lose a spot to James Shelley, or he might be able to get the spot back. And there is Dylan Jacobs, who's still out on the racetrack after pitting. Let's see if he can pass a few cars and reel back in Jordan Forbes or not. I don't know, looks like he'll have to settle in 3rd in line. As meanwhile, the actual leader of the race currently, Joey Parkhill, has yet to come to pit road, as well as a bunch of other drivers. DJ Curtis behind him, then Melissa Alexander, and so many others who have yet to come to pit road. Watching out for this. Joey comes in, DJ comes in, Melissa, Charles. Looks like everybody that stayed out, although Kyle Matthews going to stay out another lap. Kyle Matthews may be trying to go for the long play almost, as he's going to stay out for another lap. Either way you slice, I feel like everyone will be good to go on gas for the rest of the race, although Dylan Jacobs might be a closer one considering he was the first to come in, and he actually got around Jordan Forbes and James Shelley, so perhaps now Dylan Jacobs, whenever Kyle Matthews comes to pit road, he will cycle around as the leader, but also watching out for Dylan Jacobs and Joey Parkhill in comparison to see who will come out ahead. Looks like Jacobs will be able to pass Parkhill, so now officially in 2nd is Dylan Jacobs. Kyle Matthews still out on the racetrack with the race lead. I almost got to wonder if he's going to try and stretch his fuel tank out for a little bit longer time, so that way he can maybe have a shot to win this race. I don't know. I'm not sure how much longer he can stay out before he would have to come to pit road. I don't know, I'm watching helicopter cam to see if he's coming in now, and yes he is, so couldn't keep it out there for very much longer, otherwise he would have ran it too long and ran out of fuel. And there's Dylan Jacobs coming through the final corners this time by. So now, depending on what happens with Matthews here, I believe Jacobs will get the race lead back. And indeed, Dylan Jacobs does get the lead back. Even though Kyle Matthews led that lap, Jacobs now officially back to the front. So now the full field rundown, as it's now less than 3 laps to go here at Champs Elysees. It's Dylan Jacobs in the lead, second Jordan Forbes, third is James Shelley, fourth Zachary Fitzwater, fifth is Caleb Kilburn, sixth is Joey Parkhill, seventh Ryan Acosta, eighth DJ Curtis, ninth Rob Evans, 10th is Matt McIntyre. 11th is Jake Rogers, 12th Jesse Turner, 13th Melissa Alexander, 14th Carson Gum, 15th Seth Cole, 16th Kyle Matthews, 17th Jay Jefferson, 18th Charles Sanford, 19th Jonathan Zorling, 20th is Cole Deaver, 21st James Qualls, 22nd Julia Katrine, 23rd Zach Rogers, 24th Ricky Karaman, 25th is Benjamin Miles, 26th is Raphael Fireblade, 27th Raphael Leduc, 28th Cody Lamas, 29th Artur Castanha, 30th is Alyssa Drayson, 31st Jessica Sheldon, 32nd Cole Baker, 33rd Chris Dollarton, 34th Johnny Gardner, 35th Hannah Klein, 36th is Joshua Sekuli, 37th Clint Spillman, 38th Michael Norman, 39th Dylan Young, and then 40th is Henry Sandford. Back up here at the front as it's now 2 laps to go. Dylan Jacobs still leading the way, though he pitted 5 laps ago. So I gotta wonder, because of the way he came into pit road, he came into pit road on lap 5 going to lap 6, and he was the only one who came into pit road that time. I still feel like he's got enough to make it, but I don't know. As I always say, stranger things have happened. But if Dylan Jacobs can keep his car on the racetrack, he will finally break his long winless streak. He has not won a race since season 5. And that was ironically his championship season. Last season, he struggled to get to victory lane and get good finishes. Watching Jacobs, he's not coming to pit road, so he's definitely going to be able to make it looks like. And we're coming to take the white flag here in the Goodyear Challenge at Champs Elysees. White flag is out for Dylan Jacobs. It has been a long road for Dylan Jacobs to get back to victory lane after an abysmal season 6, after he won the championship in season 5. And he's been having a consistent season. He actually comes in this race, even though he lost 4 spots in points after Daytona this past week. He's 7th in points, still having a good season. And this is more likely going to be, his first win this season, and his first in quite a long time. Just a few more corners to go, and he's good to go. And how about a good runs for all 3 of the Kamikaze Racing teammates? Jordan Forbes right now 2nd, and then Jake Rogers, though he's in a Hornets nest 3 wide, battling for, looks like, the 9th position. Jake Rogers still having a solid day. But we're getting ready to come through the final turns here at Champs Elysees to conclude this event. As far as where we head to next, we head to Dover for the first time in a long time on this channel. Alright, Dylan Jacobs, he can pretty much, I think, once we come through this corner right here, he can coast it the rest of the way and still get the W. Final corner, checkered flag waving, long winless streak broken. Dylan Jacobs wins the Goodyear Challenge at Champs Elysees. Dominating performance, but it wasn't very easy for him. But still, managed to finally break his winless streak and get his first win in a long time and his first of the season. And he gets it on a treacherous road course. Great job for that 78 team. But let's look at the rest of the results. Jordan Forbes, probably his career best finish, finishing in 2nd behind his teammate Dylan Jacobs. So it was a 1-2 finish for Kamikaze Racing. Zachary Fitzwater kind of getting back into the groove again. Gets a great run in third. James Shelley with a solid performance in fourth. And then Rob Evans kind of came out of nowhere in the end and got a top 5 run in the 5th position. Joey Parkhill with a solid run in the 6th position. DJ Curtis, great run in 7th. Great run for Caleb Kilburn in 8th. Ryan Acosta, who looks like was the highest finishing rookie in this race, in 9th. And then Matt McIntyre rounding out the top 10. Then there's your top 20, your top 30. And something must have happened to Jake Rogers, because he was in the top 10 on the last lap. He might have got spun around or something, I'm not sure. But Jake Rogers actually ended up being bottom 5, along with Johnny Gardner, Michael Norman, Dylan Young, and Henry Sanford. So, tough break for Jake Rogers. He was in the top 10 on the last lap, and I don't know what happened to him to cause him to finish that far back. But as you're watching Dylan Jacobs' victory burn out to celebrate his winless streak being broken, next time we race he'll be at Dover, which will be quite interesting. But until then, here are your results, rookie points, and regular points heading into Dover. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.